Have you ever wondered why money makes the world go round? Why does it hold such sway over our lives and decisions? Ah, money, the mysterious force that can make us feel like kings one day and paupers the next. It's not just a tool for transactions, it's a psychological phenomenon that shapes our lives in profound ways. Let's start with the basics. Money is an abstract concept. It's just pieces of paper and metal, or even digital numbers on a screen. But it's the value we assign to it that gives it power. It's a language we all speak, a universal measure of worth. But it's not just about buying things. Money is tied to our self-esteem, our sense of security, our social status. Think about how you feel on payday. There's a certain thrill, isn't there? Suddenly the world seems full of possibilities. You can afford that new gadget you've been eyeing, or treat yourself to a fancy meal. It's like a mini Christmas every month. But then, there's the other side of the coin, the stress of financial instability. When money is tight, it can feel like a looming cloud, casting a shadow over everything else. It can keep you up at night, make you snap at loved ones, and even impact your health. And let's not forget the guilt and shame that can come with spending money, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck. We're often told to save, to invest, to prepare for the future. But when the future seems uncertain, spending can feel like a small rebellion, a way to reclaim control, even if it's just for a moment. Then there are those who hoard money, who save every penny, even when they have more than enough. For them, money becomes a security blanket, a buffer against the unpredictability of life. But at what cost? So, is money a hero or a villain? Well, it's a bit of both. It's a tool that can open doors and create opportunities, but it's also a source of stress and conflict. It's a complex, emotional, and deeply personal part of our lives. So, money isn't just a tool for transactions, it's a psychological phenomenon that shapes our lives in profound ways. Ever bought something you didn't really need just because it was on sale? That's your brain playing tricks on you. Welcome to the wild world of spending habits, where our brains often lead us astray. Let's dive in, shall we? First up, we have impulse buying. Picture this. You're strolling through your favorite store, minding your own business, when suddenly a shiny new gadget catches your eye. You don't need it, but oh, it's so shiny. And just like that, you're at the checkout counter, wallet in hand. Sound familiar? That's impulse buying in action. It's a thrill, an adrenaline rush, and it's driven by our brain's desire for immediate gratification. But as we all know, that shiny new gadget often ends up gathering dust on a shelf. Next, let's talk about retail therapy. Ever had a rough day and found comfort in a shopping spree? That's retail therapy. It's a kind of self-soothing, a way to distract ourselves from the stresses of life. But while it may bring temporary relief, it can also lead to financial strain and a whole lot of stuff we don't really need. Now let's not forget about sales. Oh, the allure of a good bargain. It's hard to resist, isn't it? But here's the thing. Sales often create a sense of urgency that can cloud our judgment. We think we're getting a great deal, but in reality, we're just spending money on something we wouldn't have bought otherwise. So what's the takeaway here? Well, it's all about awareness. Understanding these spending habits can help us make more mindful decisions. It's okay to splurge every now and then, but it's also important to ask ourselves, do I really need this? Can I afford it? Is it worth it? Now, this doesn't mean you have to give up shopping entirely. It's all about balance and making smart choices. After all, we're only human, and sometimes we can't resist a shiny new gadget or a good sale. So the next time you're tempted to buy that half-price designer bag, remember, your brain might be playing tricks on you. Why is it so hard to save money, even when we know it's good for us? Let's delve into the saving paradox. We all know that saving money is beneficial. It's our safety net in times of crisis, our ticket to financial freedom, and our leg up in achieving long-term goals. Yet, despite these benefits, many of us struggle to consistently save. This conundrum is what we call the saving paradox. One of the biggest psychological barriers to saving is the allure of instant gratification. It's the siren call of a shiny new gadget, a trendy outfit, or a lavish vacation that promises immediate pleasure. It's like trying to resist a mouth-watering chocolate cake when you're on a diet. You know that it's better to save your calories for a healthier meal, but the cake is right there, tempting you with its sugary goodness. Similarly, when it comes to money, we often prioritize the joy of spending now over the potential benefits of saving for later. Another hurdle is loss aversion. This is the psychological phenomenon where we feel the pain of losing something twice as intensely as the pleasure of gaining something of equal value. So when we think about saving, we often focus on the loss of spending power today, rather than the gain of financial security in the future. It's like seeing a designer handbag on sale. Even though you don't need another handbag, the thought of losing out on a good deal can be hard to resist. Overcoming these psychological barriers is not easy, but it is possible. It starts with awareness, recognizing these biases and how they influence our decisions. Then it's about making conscious choices, prioritizing long-term rewards over short-term pleasures, and reframing losses as gains in our financial journey. So saving money isn't just about discipline, it's about overcoming our psychological biases. Ever felt a rush of joy when finding a forgotten $20 bill in your pocket? That's an emotional connection with money at work. Our emotions are intertwined with money in such a complex manner that it seems almost natural. That flutter of excitement when you receive your paycheck, the slight pinch of regret when you spend on a non-essential item, or the comforting sense of security when you glance at your growing savings account balance. These are all emotional responses tied to our financial behaviors. Let's take a moment to unpack this. You see, humans are emotional creatures. We feel joy, fear, excitement, sadness, and a whole gamut of emotions. And money, despite its paper and metal form, has a knack for triggering these emotions. How so? Well, consider this scenario. Imagine that you're in a store, and you've just spotted the latest model of a gadget you've been eyeing. It's shiny, it's sleek, and it's just begging to be taken home. But then, you look at the price tag and your heart sinks. It's beyond your budget. Suddenly, that shiny gadget loses its allure, and you're left with a sense of disappointment. That's an emotional connection with money. Or think about the relief you feel when you finally pay off a debt. That burden lifted off your shoulders, that sigh of relief. Or the sense of accomplishment when you hit a savings goal. That's the power of money to stir emotions, but it's not always sunshine and rainbows. Money can also bring stress, anxiety, and fear. The fear of not having enough, the stress of juggling bills, the anxiety of an uncertain financial future. These are real emotions and they can weigh heavily on us. The key is to recognize these emotional connections and understand how they influence our financial decisions. For instance, the joy of a spontaneous purchase may be short-lived compared to the long-term satisfaction of saving for a goal. So, the next time you find yourself feeling a certain way about money, pause and reflect. What's triggering this emotion? Is it guiding you towards a wise financial decision, or is it leading you astray? Money isn't just paper and metal, it's a catalyst for a whole range of emotions. Ever made a financial decision you later regretted? Chances are a cognitive bias was to blame. Now you may be wondering, what's a cognitive bias? It's a systematic error in thinking that affects the decisions and judgments we make. And when it comes to money, these biases can lead us down some financially regrettable paths. Let's talk about a common one, the sunk cost fallacy. This is when we continue a behavior or endeavor because of our past investment, whether it's time or money. Think about that gym membership you never use but can't bring yourself to cancel. You might think, I've already spent so much, I can't quit now. But that's the sunk cost fallacy talking. In reality, the money is already gone, and keeping the membership only drains more from your pocket. Another cognitive trap is the confirmation bias. This is our tendency to search for, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms our pre-existing beliefs or values. Imagine you've invested in a company and you start ignoring any negative news about it because you believe it's a good investment. That's confirmation bias in action, and it can prevent you from making sound financial decisions. We also have the overconfidence bias, where people believe they're less at risk of experiencing a negative event. It's like thinking you won't get into an accident because you're a good driver, despite statistics saying otherwise. When applied to finances, overconfidence can lead to risky investments or spending habits. Lastly, there's the bandwagon effect. That's when we do something primarily because other people are doing it, regardless of whether it's a good idea. This herd mentality can lead to financial trends that might not be in our best interest, like buying a house in a bloated market. So, making smart financial decisions isn't just about knowledge, it's about recognizing and overcoming our cognitive biases. By being aware of these biases, we can start to challenge our thinking, make better financial decisions, and avoid those regrettable money mishaps. So, what have we learned about the psychology of money today? We've delved into the fascinating world of spending habits, unmasking the influences behind our purchases. We've explored the saving paradox, understanding why we sometimes struggle to put money aside. We've examined the emotional ties we form with money, and finally, we've exposed the common cognitive biases that can trip us up in our financial decision-making. Remember, understanding your financial behaviors and biases can help you make smarter financial decisions and take control of your money. So, the next time you're about to make a financial decision, take a moment to think. What's really driving your choice?